Hi everyone. Well, I'm back, and this time around I'm doing a live review for our little friend of a game, Dragon Age Inquisition. Uh, I'm not showing any gameplay in this video because I've already done that quick look, which was not so quick. So if you want to check that out, go right ahead. Here I'm definitely going straight to the nitty and gritty because I'm not really happy about the game. If you watched the quick look, I might have given the impression that things were going really well. By that time, I think I had played something like 45 hours, and I think I'm up to 70 or 75 around that time. And by the time I reached the 60th hour, I had gotten fed up with the game. All the little things that I mentioned and others that I will mention now just had piled up so high that I could not enjoy the game anymore. And it had become really frustrating. So yeah, normally when people review games, they give the pros and cons and then give the score. I will start with the score, which will be nasty, and then I will give my reasons, so you know where I'm coming from. So yeah, I would give a 6 out of 10 to Dragon Age Inquisition. That's harsh, I know, but I do have my reasons. So I wrote some bullet points here so that I'm sure I don't forget important stuff. So let's start with the pros. You know, as I mentioned in the quick look, the dragon fights are awesome. So that part of the game is really well done. I have nothing to say against that. So that was great. Character interaction, especially party banter when you're exploring, really, really good. I really enjoyed that. There's a lot to explore and plenty of variety as far as environment goes. So that's nice. That's really, really nice. And to go along with that, there are plenty of quests, side quests, so tons of content. So I'm sure someone will be able to get at least 100 hours of play out of it. Another thing I really enjoyed are the story missions, especially like with the one where you are invited to a soiree at the court. I would say the French court because that's basically what they are. But yeah, it's different. There's a lot of political backstabbing. So if you enjoy like Game of Thrones, you'll love that one. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one. Uh, Overall, the story was interesting. You know, I definitely enjoyed all of that. However, the rest really hurts the score. Because if there were no problems, I would probably give an 8. Yeah, probably an 8. But, as things are, 6. Okay, so I will go over the problems. I mentioned some of them in the quick look video. So, plenty of glitches in Inquisition, to a point where it becomes too much. I mentioned the A button, which is basically the button that you use to interact with people, interact with items, jump, and it gets so freaking frustrating whenever you try to just pick up loot, for example, or interact with something, and you start jumping instead, or you're trying to jump over something, and of course you're too close to an interactable item, so you start looting instead. It gets incredibly frustrating. You know, it's not so bad when you're just starting out, but when you've been playing for like 40 hours plus, oh, every little thing just shoots up in size. It gets, it makes me want to kick puppies, and I like puppies. Not kitten. Well, I don't. I mean, I don't want to kick kittens because they're just too cute. But puppies, yeah. So yeah, and that's just one of the problems. Often you get stuck in the environment, mainly because they added rocks everywhere. So you have to jump everywhere. So you're basically bunny hopping like the morons did in World of Warcraft when it came out. You know, they jump all over you, all around you, so that you couldn't hit them. That's basically what you're doing in the game. That's really annoying. I really didn't like that. And if you're on horseback, well, they will get stuck in those as well. So they also have to jump everywhere or just run around. So they just try to put too many things where some were not needed. And that really works against the game. Jumping puzzles. There aren't that many, but sometimes to get some loot, you will have to jump on ledges and things like that. However, the game was not created to be filled with jumping puzzles. You know, it's not Assassin's Creed. So it's not really responsive. It's very, very easy to go just one millimeter too far and just fall off the beam you're walking on, and then you have to start over, and that is annoying, but not too much. However, added to that is another problem. When you're jumping all around, your party follows you, and often when you fall down, they are where you were at. So when you try to go back, they're blocking the passage, and you can't get there. So it gets incredibly frustrating. I mean, you know, I don't have a lot of hair. That might be because I ripped it off. Maybe. Well, not quite, but still. Alright. Random combat jump. Oh, yeah. That's a nice glitch. I think I spoke about it in the quick look. When you're fighting an enemy and you're at a different elevation, sometimes when you try to follow the enemy and swing at the same time, for some strange reason, your character will be shot up in the air like from a cannon, and then you will come back down and it will hurt a lot, and the only reaction you can have is like, what the fuck just happened? And it happened rather often. Enough to be a concern. You know, it happened to me like 6 or 7 times. It was weird, and sometimes, in a couple of instances, it got me in trouble. So yeah, really not fun. Party members in the way, already talked about that. Tactical combat, and combat in general. Well, it's very action heavy. So I saw a lot of people compare the gameplay to Dynasty Warriors. I can see that. Um, they really got away from the tactical combat in Dragon Age Origins, and that's too bad. Because that was great! That was fun! You know, you could use either one, but in this game, the tactical combat just feels wrong. And it's not fun to use. So, yeah. As I saw other people mention, it really feels like it's a console port instead of, a computer game, and they made ports on consoles. Nah, it was dumbed down, and that's frustrating as well. Uh, because of that, because they tried to focus on really action-driven combat, there's limited healing. Some people will like that, and I respect that. But I enjoyed having mages who could heal. You know, you basically had to be careful and keep your healer alive. It's something that we've played almost 1,000 times, and yet it doesn't mean it's boring or bad. I enjoyed that type of gameplay. So, yeah, it's a small nitpick in that case. All right. Following one of the pros, which was the huge world, tons of content, some parts, suffered from a lack of polish. And what I mean by that is that as I played along, at some point in a few zones, creatures stopped dropping loot almost entirely. It still dropped from time to time, but rather rarely. And at first, I wondered if it was just, a coincidence. But it persisted to a point where I said to myself, well, that zone was not finished. It just wasn't finished. You just pushed the game out of the door, and it was not ready. So yeah, as you play more and more, you will encounter some of those things, and it gets really annoying. Another thing which is a small nitpick, it's the romance. The romance payoff. Uh, the romance options are not really good overall. And sadly, the best romance option was the least rewarding. It was kind of cute, but unrewarding. Two of the most interesting characters, well, actually three, you could simply not romance. And like the Scout Harding, Vivian, Liliana. Come on, man. Give us options. I'm disappointed in that part, but it's not that bad, because some people are just not interested in romance. That's fine. So also, I consider this a small nitpick. However, the last one is far from a small nitpick. If you're a fan of loot, like, let's say, Diablo 2, Marvel Heroes in my case, or even like Adventure Manager that I made a video about. If you're a loot whore, you will be sorely disappointed in the game. Loot is almost useless. As you level up, creatures tend to level up as you do. However, the loot itself doesn't seem to be affected. So you're fighting creatures like level 15 and they drop like level 7 stuff that you just can't use. And you have a really nasty fight against, you know, tough enemies, and whoa, you find a unique item. You say, yes, all right, let's check it out. And it's crap. You're using a normal item or a crafted item, which is tons better. And you've been using it for several levels, and, you know, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, the itemization is weak. It's incredibly weak. It's frustrating. So, yeah, the crafting is the best part of the game because of that. Because there's no reason to explore. There's no reason to explore. Because exploring is about finding quests. Sure, you'll find some. And finding loot. However, that is unrewarding. So what do? You feel that exploring becomes a drag. One of the game's forces, one of the game's strengths, becomes its own enemy. You know, you wonder why you're doing this. You know, oh man, I have these 2, 3 huge zones left to explore, but why should I? There's no point, because you know you're gonna find crap. So yeah, it defeats the purpose of exploring. So that is definitely my biggest nag against the game, and the main reason why I gave it a 6. You know, it's complete and utter crap. It's frustrating, and it's too bad because the music is great. I forgot to mention it in the pros. The story is definitely decent. I've seen better, but I've seen much, much worse, so I can't really knock the game about that. Um, Combat is nice. Not necessarily my cup of tea, but it's nice. So it really boils down to getting the feeling that you've been wasting your time. Which is strange, considering all the content. I did not expect to feel this way. You know, after 70 hours, I gave up. I was relatively close to the end, and I did watch what I had not played, because I wanted to have a clear picture of what I was missing. But, yeah, I simply could not bring myself to finish the game. I will eventually, but too many things were irritating me, and too many problems. Even if they correct all the glitches, there are still, you know, design flaws in the game. And that's why I don't see myself giving it higher than an 8 at best, if all the bugs or glitches are taken care of. It's a missed opportunity in my opinion. So yeah, 6 out of 10. I'm disappointed because I wanted to love it. Thankfully for me, there are other better games out there that I've been taking my time. So yeah, maybe you will still want to try it. Go for it if you want to, but I would suggest waiting until there's a price cut, a sale or something like that. Because as things stand, not really worth it in my opinion. Despite the huge amount of content and easily the 100 hours of gameplay you'll get out of it. And looking at the achievements, I was kind of disappointed because pretty much all the achievements kind of expect you to explore everything, kill everything. That's insane. I wanted to bang my head against the wall after 70 hours. No way. No way. And there are other games that I've played for hundreds of hours, and I could still go on, but not this one. Now, this one really got to me, and too many problems. Too many problems. So maybe I should rename this review Dragon Age Inquisition. Too many problems. But no. I hope this was informative, and I will see you next time.